name is Marissa, and I'm going to do a tutorial today for the Potomac Bead Company. And for today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these earrings that I'm calling my Starry Earrings. And because they kind of look like stars, so I'm going to make the other one for this one. So that's the one I'm going to be making with you today. So for this, you are going to need IrisDuos. You're going to need 8 per earring, so that will be 16 total. And I'm using the Aztec Gold. You will need RounTrios, and you will need 1 per earring, so that would be 2 total. And I'm using the white iris. I like this color a lot. It's very pretty, and in person it's a lot prettier than on camera. You will also need 11-ohs. Now you don't need to use 2 colors, but I like seed beads, so I'm going to use 2 colors of 11-ohs. I'm going to use a metallic light bronze and the Miyuki, the name is this is kind of old, Miyuki Opaque Anima. The bronze is also Miyuki. You're also going to need some 2x3 rondelles, and I'm going to be using this metallic transparent purple. And you will need 8 per earring, so that will be 16 total that you will need. Per earring, you will need just under 3 feet of thread. And you will need 1 needle, and a size 10 will work just fine. We're not going to be working with 15-ohs today, so a size 10 beading needle will do it. You will also need 2 earring hooks, and I'm just using this kind of earring hook, nothing fancy. And I'm going to use a bronze color for the earring that I'm making today. You will need flat nose pliers to probably to help get out of these areas here. You might not. You will, however, might need it to flatten your thread and to thread your needle. You will also need scissors or something to cut your thread, and I'm just using the Ultra Thread Stop. Okay, so get your things together and I will show you what to do first. And I'm going to start with my IrisDuos. I think I poured out too many, but that's okay. Now, just make sure all your holes are clear, and just make sure that when you put them on your needle, you will need to put all 8 on your needle. Check all your holes, and you will not need to put anything in between them. Also make sure that they are all facing the upright, which will be with not the flat side up. The flat side is the part that's going to go down. Your round side is the part that's going to go up. So I have 6 on my needle. I just need 2 more. You will not need a stop bead because we are going to tie a knot. So I'm going to get the rest out of the way. So this is what you should have, 8, and then just bring them down close to the end of your thread and tie a knot. You don't have to go crazy making sure that it's very tight. You just, as long as it's snug, it'll work. And I didn't want to have too much tail left, but well, it's okay. This will work just fine. And I'm going to tie it one more time. Now, if I'm out of frame for this, all I'm doing is tying my knot. I'm not picking up beads. I'm not doing anything important. I'm just tying my knot. Okay, got my knot. Go into your IrisDuo next to it and pull in your knot, and going through the same hole that we've been using, the part that's in towards the center of your piece. Okay, and just make sure it's not coming out on either side of your Iris Duo. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip over 2 more Iris Duos, and I'm still using that same hole. And I just split my nail. How about that? Gross. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of my tail because I really, really hate it when it's just in the way. I'm not going to cut it too short because I can't see, but just to where it's out of my way. I'm going to get my 11-Os over here. You can go ahead and get out your round trio because we're going to put in our round trio now. Now, you should be coming out of one of your inner holes of your Iris Duo. Pick up your round trio. Go in through one of your outer holes, not the middle hole. We're not going to use the middle hole for this project at all. So just one of your outer holes. Now, the Iris Duo that you're coming out of, go into the one directly across from it, the same side that you're coming out of. In other words, you're not going to go in diagonally. My thread was coming out this side. I'm just going to hop over and go in that way. And then pull. Now I'm coming out. I'm going to go back into my round trio into the other end hole and pull. And I'm going to go back into the Iris Duo. The way I'm coming out, I'm going to go in through that same side. So you made like a little square with your thread. And it's laying like this. Does not look pretty, but that's okay because we're going to hide all of that thread. Now you're coming out of your Iris Duo. Go back into your round trio. And you should be coming out of an end hole. Pick up 3 11-Os. Skip the middle hole, go into the other end hole and pull. Now you're coming out of that same, out of that other end hole. Pick up 5 more 11-Os, 4, 5. Go into that same hole but in your opposite direction. So you're just going to circle around. Now you're coming out of that same end hole again. Pick up 3 11-Os and go into the other end hole. And those of you that are more experienced will know what I'm going to do next. I'm coming out of the other end hole. I'm going to pick up 5 more 11-Os, 4, 5. I'm going to go in through that same end hole through the opposite direction, or I will be circling around, however you want to see it. So this is what we have. And our seed beads look very weird. Just go in through all of your seed beads to connect them. So go ahead and do that and I'll meet you back. And this will fix your seed beads. Okay, so I added all of my 11-Os and all I did was go in through all of my 11-Os to put a thread connecting all of them. Now, you want to go in through one of your end holes. So you want to go in through those same holes those same outer holes. So you want to, I don't know how to say this, behind the bead that's in front of the hole. That's where you want to see how these beads are in front of the hole. So that's where you should have just stuck in your needle, and then now you're coming out. And you should be coming out right in front of those same IrisDuos. And I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but if you can see your thread from here when you do this. So you just want to make sure that you're still working with those same IrisDuos. So I'm coming out of that hole, that end hole, and I'm going to go in through the IrisDuo behind it, through that same hole we've been working with, the innermost hole, come out, Now we're going to hop on over to the top hole, the one that we haven't played with yet. So we're coming out here, and this is what you should have. Now here we're going to put in our rondelles, and that's all we're going to pick up for this step. We're just going to put a rondelle, and again, these are 2x3 rondelles, and I'm using the Potomac Bead Company rondelles. So just pick one up and go through your next IrisDuo and just put them in between your IrisDuos. And again, you're going to have thread showing, but we are going to cover that up with our step after this. So pick up your IrisDuos and go through pick up your rondelles and go through each of your IrisDuos. This is a really fast project. It's very simple, and it's not difficult at all. If you are a beginner, you should be able to make this. If ever at any point you're not quite understanding something, just stop the video, go back, and watch that section again. So I'm almost done with my rondelles. And the chair I am sitting on is very high, so I'm really far from my beading area. It's hard to see. But, okay, there's a rondelle right there. And right now I have someone hovering right next to me. And that's always fun when I'm trying to concentrate. Okay, so going through your last IrisDuo, come out through your rondelle like that. So this is what you should have. Now we're going to work with our 11-ohs. And you're going to go from rondelle to rondelle, adding 4 11-ohs in between each rondelle. So 4 11-ohs on your needle. Go into your next rondelle and line and pull. 4 more 11-ohs on your needle. Whoops. Go into your next rondelle and pull. So go ahead and do this all the way around, and I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, so I already added all of my 4 11-ohs that go here. Now we're going to, once you've added your last 11-ohs and you've gone through your last rondelle, go up through 2 of your 11-ohs. Now here we're going to be putting 1 more 11-oh, and this is going to be where my second color goes. So I'm picking up a purple, and I'm going through the 11-ohs, and again I'm going to go through all of these beads again. But you see how that put my 11-oh at the tip. So now I'm going to go through. Now there is an easier way. Whoops. Coming out of here, I just turned it to the back, and it's easier if you catch your 11-ohs from the back. So I'm coming out of these two. I'm going to get my other color, and I'm going to go through everything here and come out. And then I'm going to go up these two, pick up my 11-oh again of my second color, and again, you don't have to use 2 colors. You can just use 1 if you like. Or if you don't want to add 11-ohs on this step, if you just want to leave it the way it was, it's pretty the way it was even before this step. But you get less of a point. It looks more like a flower, but it's still pretty. So this part is up to you. And that's what these tutorials are for, really. They're to give ideas and inspire, not always just making everything the way it's exactly done on the tutorial. I mean, yes, do that if you want, but you know, play around with the patterns too. Okay, so I need to put this 11-oh here. Now, one thing about these earrings, they hang really cute. sometimes when you make an earring and you don't take into account how it's going to look when it's hanging, and then you think it's really, it may look really nice when you're making it, but once you have it on, especially earrings, you can usually get away with it with a bracelet, but earrings they can be kind of tricky. If they don't hang right, there goes, you have to do some adjusting. But these hang okay. They hang nice. Okay, so I put in my last 11-0. I'm going in through this rondelle, pulling. Now this was the section where I thought you might need your flat nose pliers or pliers. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. Now you want to go up through the 2 11-0s and then the 1.11-0 that we just added. And here's where we're going to add our ear hook, our earring hook. So I'm coming out through here. I'm going to put 3 11-0s of my bronze color. And I'm coming out this way. So just make sure that you're putting your hook on the correct way. I'm going to pick up 3 more. And I'm going to go through that same 0.11-0 in the opposite direction. So I circled around. Now I'm going to reinforce this 2 more times. And just so that it's nice and reinforced there. And I'm going through, that was my second pass. I'm going to do 1 more. This thread, this green thread, is amazing. It really is. It just blends in with so many different colored beads. It's like no worries at all when you use thread like this. Okay, so I already reinforced. I did 3 passes. And as you can see, I have a good amount of thread left. So that makes it easier for me when I'm doing a knot. So I'm coming out of here, of my middle pointy bead, and I'm going to come down here and through one of these 11-0s, and I'm just going to take my needle going through there and do a half hitch knot. And then I'm going to go into the 11-0 after it, and I'm going to pull my thread in through there and come out of my 11-0. And if you like, do a couple more. I'm coming out of my rondelle. I think I'm going to do one after my rondelle. And then I'm going to go in up these 11-0s. And pulling my needle. I'm not going to do one here because I don't want to ruin this point. So I'm just going to go down and I'm going to go into the rondelle. And I think I'm already going to cut my thread. But do a couple more. So I'm going to use my thread burner. And I will burn that down a little bit more. But here's our earring. And here's our pear. Since I've been just kind of rough with it, just want to flatten it, but it will stay that way. Once you kind of play with it like that, it will stay that way. And it will hang really, really nicely on the ear. So this is our starry earrings. And this is, whoops, this is my other color that I did in the white baby blue, is it, or the baby blue luster IrisDuos, and I use the silver aluminum RounTrios, and I use the light pewter 11-0s on this one with some light blue 11-0s on the ends. So this is what we have. This is what we have. Fast, simple, and really cute. So I hope you enjoyed making these, and thank you very much for watching.